days, those L's, I couldn't sleep right now. I get paid, vacay, I'm staying B-side. Breaking the blues over steak, I gotta eat right. You could be my peace sign. I don't need bad energy around me. I just need sun, you're so cloudy. I wake up good, you're so grouchy. Please get from around me. When the truth don't work, you start telling lies. Thought you were down to ride, you weren't down to ride. Caught switching, you were picking sides. Don't blink, caught slipping like a slip and slide. I was shooting dice till I got a nosebleed. Money on the floor, can't get cold feet. Took a L, should've put it in the offering. Lord, forgive me for my sins, don't know of me. Scary thoughts, I got scary thoughts. Lost control, now I'm taking charge. Breaking bills, friends breaking off. You could be the youngest, I'm the dawn. Kiss the ring, nah. In the scene like GOT. Stay awake, don't sleep.
What is going on, J. Crew? Shout out to the 587 subscribers that are part of the J. Crew. I love you guys so much. Shout out to my lovely wife, Vegan Knowledge. We had a wonderful anniversary dinner last night. I decided to go ahead and whip up some spaghetti for her since she's always cooking dinner for us. So we had a fun date night, and it was really cool. Shout out to my sister-in-law and my mother-in-law, Brooke and Kathy Wozniak. I love you guys so much. Shout out to my baby sister, Lily Wozniak, who is an aspiring drummer. Nah, taking after her big sister-in-law. Shout out to everybody that was on the stream yesterday, staying focused. Jessica, I appreciate you so much. Thank you again for the Cash App donation. It's much appreciated. And yes, I'm now following you on TikTok. I'm like, wait a minute, am I following her? And I finally found you this morning. I went in and investigated. I'm like, how am I not following her? So I am following you now. Shout out to all of my wonderful wives that have come in here to support me. Janetta, Jen, Jessica, Alashiba, all of you guys. Becca has been in here. Kim Turner has been in here. So I'm starting to know your names. Look at that. What is going on? And then my original JQ rap got reloaded, and Buddha 1000, Roe, and Dolly Bush, Renee Revelinsky, Jazan, I'm trying to think, yeah, Shay J, Chandra, Dexterous Crockett, everybody, Flight Sports TV, Buffett, all you guys have been here. So I appreciate you so much. Yes, I'm sipping on coffee. It's decaf, but it's a placebo. It's like coffee, so I'm faking myself out. Shout out to my cousin Joyce Live. Wow, there was no chat over there a few seconds ago. What the hell is going on? And I know some of them are vegan knowledge telling me I was on mute. Nah, they kept me occupied, so I didn't micromanage dinner. That is so funny. She tried to micromanage dinner, guys. It's spaghetti. How many different ways to make spaghetti? I happen to like mine a little sweet, so I put a little sugar in it. I like to garlic it up. I love Italian food. I love anything Italian. So, as long as it doesn't have meat in it. And then I got up this morning. I was supposed to do my workout, and I veered off from my normal schedule. I still as of yet have not worked out, but I'm gonna work out after the stream. If that's going nuts. Yeah, like okay, what's going on? Don't you work out in the mornings? And I'm like, okay, I feel like eating some leftover spaghetti and vegging out and watching the rest of the Love is Blind tell off from last night, if you don't mind. And so that's what I did because it got me to thinking about something I wanted to talk to you guys about today, which is the title of the stream, and that is expectations. You know, I have a lot. I have a lot. Even at this late stage in the game, I still think, what am I going to be when I grow up? Some days, you know what I mean? And it got me to thinking. I watched these people on this show, and there was one couple in particular, and I know this isn't supposed to be reality TV, but hey, it is what it is. If it veers off into a real conversation, then so be it, because that's usually what happens here. But I cannot help it, guys. This couple, and I don't know if any of you are familiar with Love is Blind, and shout out to Buddha 1000 for letting me know once again that it was back on Netflix, because I had binged. My mother-in-law originally told me about it. My mother and sister-in-law told me about it. They had been watching it, and they told me during the middle of season 2, which I picked up on and watched, went back, watched the beginning of season 2, caught up, and then got hooked on the show and went and binged season 1, all in the same 24 hours. So all of those 24 hours, yeah, I spent watching Love is Blind. That's probably why I'm blind. I watch too much damn television. Um, but I got intrigued by the show, and so Buddha 1000 the other night in the stream in the Tuesday takeover said, do you watch Love Is Blind? Season 3 is up, and I'm like, what? Yeah, I watch it. So I picked up on it, and then I went on ahead and binged it, and I finished it last night, and you know it pisses me off because there were a couple of guys in there, and I'm talking about Batiste and Cole, who did not know what to say out of their damn mouths to the women that they were paired up with, right? And I got to watching, and I'm gonna aim specifically at Cole and Zenon, okay? Cole and Zay. I'm torn about that couple, and this is what made me think about the title expectations, because they started in the pods. He was talking to her and the other girl, Colleen, and he got torn between the two, right? And he got torn between the two and decided that Colleen wasn't serious enough for him, so he would go ahead with Zay and propose to her. Well, Matt picked up on Colleen, and they also hit it off. Colleen hit it off with a few guys, but Matt was right behind Cole in the running. And so, okay, Cole doesn't want me. Let's continue on with it, because she got rejected twice. Um, a couple of people that she thought was going to propose to her didn't. And I think it was Brendan, the guy that ended up marrying Alexis. Brendan rejected her and Cole rejected her. And then there was Matt. Matt married her. Matt said, I love you, hey, I'm feeling you. And Matt had told her the story of what happened to him when he was in high school. He had dated a girl, and they had been together for a long time, and she ended up cheating on him and getting pregnant by the guy she cheated with. And so she conveyed that to him, and then he hadn't heard from her since. Well, I think he's in his 30s now, so he's hurt still, hasn't dated, and when he did date, he only dated for a couple days and then let it go. Jen, I'm gonna bring you in, but I'm gonna go ahead and finish up this little talk off that I'm doing. You there? Let's make sure we can hear you.
I'm here.
Okay, baby. Okay, so Matt, decided I'm gonna take a shot at Love and Go on this damn show, and if it happens, it happens. Well, He picked up everybody's leftovers with Colleen, and she's a nice girl. I don't mean anything by that. That's just, it is what it is. And he decided to marry her. Well, Cole, once they got out of the pods and got to met each other, he met his wife to be Zay, who was gorgeous. She's attractive, and he was happy about that. So he's like, "Great, I emotionally connected with you, and you also happen to be good looking. That's a bonus. I'm in." So they get to talking, and when they all hook up at a get together, the first get together for everybody, like they do with Married at First Sight now, they have all the couples get together and start meeting and hanging out and supporting each other in the process. Well, when he saw Colleen, he was like, shit, that's normally the type of girl that I do go out for. No wonder she and I bonded. And not only that, she looks more like my type. Immediately, and his expectations went to shit. They meant nothing because the reason he didn't pick Colleen was because she wasn't deep enough for him. He thought she was a bit shallow. So the whole premise of the show is to not base your judgment on looks and looks alone. Even though we know, let's keep it up, even though we know looks do matter. Okay? Come on. But to tell you, you made a decision based on the spirit of it. Because apparently going off of looks first didn't get you shit initially. So, okay, he realizes that he bonded more with Zay. But when they get out of the pods, the superficialness comes out. And you know what? No, I'm going to back up. I'm not going to call it superficialness. It is a thing. Looks are a part of it. So he realized that that extra added element of attractiveness meant more to him than the emotional connection he had with Zay, because he immediately they had a situation where they were in the swimming pool, right? He admitted to Colleen that he was more attracted to her, or that she's normally the type of girl he goes out for. And she admitted that, well, if I'm being honest, you are normally the type of guy I go for too. Well, she was honest and went back that night and told her fiance what she said, which caused him to pack his bags. He threw a temper tantrum because remember, he was hurt. So he thought, okay, what are you going to go get pregnant on me too? So the first thing, scared, there's that fear. That fear jumped in. And what did he do? He didn't face the fear like we talk about. He didn't walk into it and accept it and say, okay, are you attracted to this guy? What's that? His first initial thing was to suppress those feelings that of love that he had for her, replace it with anger and fear, and run. Okay. So, but he came right back. Now, here's the thing. Cole also admitted to Zay that he may have had a conversation that was sus, because she asked him, "What do you think? What would you rate me at? Not 1 out of 10?" And I think he gave her a 9. And she said, "Well, is there anybody that you would rate a 10?" And he said, "Well, if I'm being honest, Colleen. She's normally the type I go out for." Why he said that, I don't know. Sometimes brutal honesty is not necessary. Yes, the truth shall set you free. Shall set you free. And being upfront and
Yeah,
honest.
we'll set you free from your mate, right?
Yeah, right, right. And but being brutally honest is not necessary. Some things just don't need to be said, and that didn't need to be said. And I'm gonna let Batiste off the hook because I want to focus on Cole and Zay, but I think I'm gonna do another one on him because he was a complete ass from start to finish. Wait till you see how he did her in the end, Jen, because I don't think you saw it.
Uh,
I guess
yeah,
I
I
guess I'm
did.
spoiling it. Did
I
you? He
was
walked
awake.
away.
Yeah, I woke up, remember, in the middle of the night and started watching it, the
Ah,
whole end and the tell-all.
but I don't want to get off on that yet. I want to talk about Cole and Zay. Let me ask you a question. Did you watch any of the interactions? If you said you got up and watched more of it between them after what we were watching?
Yeah, like you mean I didn't see the wedding. No, I only saw them on the tell-all.
Okay, and then you and I watched the episode where they danced, and
Oh
then they
yeah, I
had,
saw like a lot of their relationship in the beginning. I
yeah,
just didn't see the wedding. I saw leading up to it when they were getting
yeah,
ready even.
we saw that last night, right? We watched it. They had a couple of good dates, and I said, "Isn't that beautiful?" They were dancing, and then they were on the boat, and and then they had the fight. You saw the fight where he asked her if she was bipolar, right?
I did not see the fight.
Okay. Well, the next scene, is Cole fixing dinner for Zay. She's not home from work yet. He's cutting up a vegetable and putting some chicken in a pan. And I thought, wow, look at this guy, man. He's really bought in. He's really trying to make up for saying that crap that he said back in the beginning of their time together. And he's really trying. I got to give it to him. Now he's cooking her dinner. So she comes home. Um, is that chicken burning? And can I have a wine? Can I have it in a wine glass? Like, what's this? What's up with these vegetables? Prima donna shit. Like, how about, honey, you're making dinner? You're making dinner for me. You've been telling me you're going to make dinner for me. What? All right, cool. And taking the wine and going and sitting your ass down somewhere and letting him make dinner. Next thing she's up turning this should be turned down a little bit. She's up taking over the dinner and being um, very flippant, I want to say. And eventually he kind of just backs off and gets offended a little bit. He didn't get nasty with her, but ultimately when they're eating, he's like, I'm just trying to make you happy. What is going on? Like, why are you, he said, okay, so why are you acting so bratty? And she said, excuse me, watch how you talk to me. Okay, first of all, I agree with him. She was extremely bipolar throughout the season. Now, I get it. He made a mistake. He's a human being. That doesn't excuse it. But he made a mistake in telling her what he felt. But he didn't touch the girl, nor did he continue to pursue her. He got beat up so bad about it in the beginning that he never mentioned her again. But yet, and still, and I know she's dealing with loss issues because both her parents died when she was a young age. So she thinks everybody leaves in some way. So she doesn't commit. You can see that. You can see that's what's going on with her. She's afraid to commit and put her heart in because she feels like Cole's either going to die on her or he's going to leave her. And she's taking it out on Cole, I think, because she's treating him. One minute she seems like she never really softened up. He asked her, I need you to be more sweet. I get what he meant by that, because she's very frigid. Like she barely smiles or laughs. And when she does, it's short lived and she cuts it right off and gets right back into being frigid. And so at the at the wedding, she goes into, it's her turn. She reads these vows and makes it sound like she's going to say yes. But all of a sudden, she takes this turn. And I'm sorry if I'm spoiling it, Jen, but I got to rant about this because this pisses me.
No, I'm okay. I kind of got the gist already of their relationship, and I already know what happened after. So like that is good. I
Yeah.
just give me the middle
All of a
details. I
sudden,
kind of
she's
heard
like,
a lot.
Cole, you made me fall in love with you, blah, 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 blah. And I thought, this is an awesome guy. And then you disrespected me. You made me feel like trash. You made me feel inferior to you. Like she just kind of laid into him at the altar in front of his friends and family. And he just
And
kind of
didn't her
looked like
friends start cheering?
when and then she walks off after her little rant, and you could hear like,
That
like
was
two or
pretty
three
good.
hand clapping, two or three hands. Got do sound effects too. Two or three hand clappings. You know what I mean? What as she walks off. Personally, and then Cole is just devastated because he was blindsided. He didn't see it coming, right? And I thought, whoa, did she just go bipolar in the middle of the wedding? She started off complimenting the hell out of him, and then she tore him a new asshole blink of an eye. And all season she did that. Like, do you like him or not? Because all season I see this guy doing nothing but trying to appease this girl from the fuck up on. And I see her kind of letting him in and kind of not, kind of letting him in, kind of not. And then when she did that at her wedding, I was done. He did not deserve that. And then the tell all comes and she basically continues with, I thought she's going to say, I watched it back and you did try. And, I think I'm sorry. Hell no.
You know
She
what I
comes
thought
in.
was classy of him in
What?
that moment?
Right.
when they were talking about that scene that you already mentioned about the cooking dinner, he
Yeah.
was like, "You know what? They actually showed her in a negative light there because that's not how the scene went." And as you know, as an editor, they can pick and choose who they want to be the one that's the villain and who they want to that you on their side.
That
So
made
what
me give her
happened
some
though, it's
grace. That
usually
made me give
not.
her some grace. I'm like, okay, you know what? Maybe I was wrong about her. Did they edit
But
her
the
that way?
fact that she didn't say that and he had to say it and they were making him look bad. I mean, her
Yeah.
look bad. And he reached out after she ditched him at the altar and basically then said, you know what? They made her look bad. She actually wasn't like that. We were kind of more of a jokey kind of couple. And yes, she was saying those things, but we were kind of, and then they showed a scene where she's like, do you have to throw your clothes everywhere?
Right.
And like, it was like a friendly banter basically in his mind, but in her mind, she even said, well, later on, she said, yeah, maybe I would, if I could take that, do that
Yeah.
differently.
And then
But
she also said at the tell all, she said, I'm not, I don't regret doing what I did at the wedding because you made me feel inferior. You constantly talked about my weight. There was a time when I had two tangerines in my hand and I was getting ready to eat them. And you like, are you getting ready to eat those?
maybe
You
he
know,
wanted
like,
one, I said.
yeah, yeah. He's like, are you getting ready to eat those?
It wasn't
You
like it
know,
was
what
cheeseburgers. Why would he be mad at her eating two tangerines and talk about her weight
yeah,
anyway?
we're getting ready to eat dinner later. Well, guess what? They showed that scene. They pulled it off the cutting room floor, not in the tell-all, but legit right after it went off. There was a quick episode where they showed they showed that scene of him telling her that. It was nothing like what she said, Jen. It
Well,
was
I'm going to
nothing
tell
like
you
what
my
she
theory.
said.
Before you go on, can you check, is there like a cord on your mic that connects to the bottom of it or to your headset or something that you're talking in? It sounds a little staticky. It's not bad, but you know how like if your cord starts to pull out, it like sounds like a little minor adjustment might needs to be made. Just make sure all your please check your connections. I will do my automated voice. I am Jennifer from tech support. But while you're checking the connections,
Yeah, it's too much. I can't do it.
oh, it's good.
I
It
can't
sounds
do it right
better.
now. Yeah, I don't know what was happening, but but here's the thing. They showed the scene, right? And he says the way that it actually went down, which is exactly what I suspected, when she's badgering him about the meal, he's oh, this is the time when he's like, what's going on with your family? I want to meet your family. I want to know everything about you. And where's your family? She said, well, most of them are in Europe. He's like, okay, what part of Europe? She says London, like England. And he said, okay, I'd love to meet them. How can we take a trip and get everybody in one spot? She's like, there's a whole lot of them. I mean, there's too many to really be doing that. Kind of dismissing it. He's like, no, she said, well, actually, most of them are on my mom's side and they live all kind of near my cousin. He said, well, that doesn't sound like that would be hard to put together. She said, it wouldn't. Like, he's like, yeah. She's like, what do you mean, like for a reception? He's like, yeah, perfect. That would be cool. She's like, I mean, if we really wanted to do it, we could do it. Being kind of snippy. And then he's like, okay, cool. Because I mean, I would love to meet your family. I think that would be so cool. I can't wait to eat dinner. Wow, you got two tangerines. Woo! Make sure you save some room for dinner because we are going to chow down. She's like, it's just two oranges. He didn't say it like how she made it. She made the big deal out of it. It's just two oranges, Cole. I mean, he's like, okay, yeah, that's fine. I hope, I just saying we're getting ready to eat. And she's like, I barely ate all day. The only thing I had was a banana today. He's like, you only ate a banana? He was concerned that she only ate a banana. He did not badger her. He did not say, "Well, good, that's good. I'm glad you're watching your weight." He's like, "You." He was worried. Why did you only asked her why she only ate a banana? But yet she made it out like Cole was constantly badgering her about her weight and was this tyrant that wanted to make her starve herself so that she could look a certain way. And it wasn't like that at all. And I think the producers played that scene to let us know she's full of shit. It didn't happen the way she painted it. It did happen, but not like that.
And you know
She's
what
I
happened?
don't I can't stand her. I don't like her.
But here's what happened with her, and I'm going to tell you, it's the same thing that happened on a different show too. I feel like it has to do with her. The minute that she went on a show like this, let's put it this way. I don't think she's a very bad looking person that
No.
wouldn't want somebody to see her looks. But what ended up happening because they went on
Hey,
this,
Jess.
she obviously has some type of problem with expectations, or maybe people have taken her looks and got with her because of that, or whatever the case is. But the minute that he said something about Colleen. Colleen was more of the type he went for. She got herself put that wall up around her. Whatever has happened in her childhood, like we were talking about, where she's been abandoned and left, that wall came up. And so she made it a self fulfilling prophecy to even if she had to make stuff up that he was saying, because
Yeah.
the more she lashed out, the more he apologized, she still could never let him in. She that
No.
fear took over, and even though she had this great guy, and he was, and I will give it up to him, he said some stuff that he shouldn't have said to her.
Yep.
He
Yep.
he got
We've
into
both done it.
Colleen. He flirted with her in the pool. We got it. When he got back into her, and I saw him starting to really get in love with her, and love her for who she is, and like, yeah, maybe this is why we were connected. She could never open up and get past that. Even to the point at the wedding, she was going back and forth. She wanted to marry him, but she was making these stories up, probably to
Yep.
her friends too. And then they were like, "Are you going to marry this guy?" Thinking all that, and it's like she's lying to herself maybe more than she's even lying to us. And maybe watching that, she can realize that, and it's like a therapy she has to do, because I think the reason he was so like thrown off, because their relationship to us all looked like it was working beyond that first point, but we didn't know she never got over that.
And we know they edit. I am an editor. I know how it works. We know they edit shit.
She was
Okay.
trying
We
to
know
make
that
it like they edited her
she
bad.
right and made it look like there was all this stuff going on behind the scenes with Cole. But I think we get an idea of who Cole really is. And I probably, I don't know if I'm the only person on earth who is on Cole's side in this whole thing. I think she was overly critical of him and did not give him any grace whatsoever. And I didn't think he deserved what she did at the wedding. And I think she over dramatized the whole tangerine conversation. And I think if she over, and she said that he picked up on a girl after the bachelor party. Hello, did you watch the damn show? The bachelor party was not a strip show. They were at a fucking rodeo. What did he do? Hit on a horse? Okay, I mean, come on. You know what? He hit on a cattle or something, and then everybody said they jumped in Ubers and went home, which I totally believe that, dude. So I could be wrong. Who knows? I wasn't there, so I don't know. No, but I mean, everybody backed him up, kind of like, okay, yeah, we went to a rodeo, and then everybody got in Ubers and went home. So I don't know what, I don't know if he went somewhere else. I don't know, but no, she's saying it happened at the at the bachelor party, and the bachelor party was a rodeo. So she doesn't have her facts straight. But she made this guy look really crazy. I'm gonna go try to search their social media and see what's going on behind the scenes, because apparently they're kind of going at it, and I want to know what the hell's going on. But what is going on, Jess? Are you telling us that there is yet another 60 days in? Is it season 7, or is there a season 8 already? Because I watched season 7, and I managed to hit Carlos up in his DMs and had a conversation with him. Jem was like, "Who were you talking?" I was in the bathroom talking to him. He was like, "Were you taking a dump?" I'm like, "Yeah." And we were on the phone for like an hour, and he told me a bunch of stuff about that. And he was supposed to come on the channel and do an interview with me at some point. So I don't know if he's still going to do that. I don't know, but he seems to be a cool dude. I think they painted him in a bad light, but I'm curious about that. Is there another 60 days in? I
Wait and
wonder if
see
there's an
what the
8.
reply is. But yeah, I'm into that show. I didn't think I would be, because I'm like, I don't know if I want to watch that about, jail and stuff. And
I
it
know
was
I don't
like,
want to
I
manifest
got
jail
really
again,
into like, are we
right?
watching 60 Days In?
I
Um,
know, and I'm like, we started binging season. We watched season 1. We got through season 1 with Tammy and those girls. Now we're on season 2, and I lost interest in it because Love Is Blind was back on. So at the end of the day, love's my favorite emotion. So I'm gonna go back to watching what I like the best. But I need to get into it and finish season 2.
I think a lot of these shows, to your main thing on the stream here is expectation, and I think a lot of these reality shows, maybe even 60 days in, what are your expectations? But I'm thinking of Married at First Sight, this Love is Blind, um 90 Day Fiance. A lot of this has to do with expectations, especially like
I'm glad you tied it back in because
the
that's where I was going with it. With like, what did she want from him?
you can be
What do
so
any of us
caught up
want?
in expectations that you forget about what you're not expecting. You shouldn't be expecting anything. Let's put it that way, if that's the word. Like not anything, but like if your expectation was this, if you were looking for this Colleen, let's say on his part, then he should have been going after someone that looks like, if you know you can't get past that expectation. But my thing is, he had that expectation, he identified it in himself, and then he got into who he was with and realized that his expectations were not necessarily right. He needs to just expect the best out of who he's with.
He
And
said
he
that. He was
realized,
like, you know what? I realized why I picked you. You know what I mean? And I'm
mhm.
glad that I did.
But
And
we can
I
make our
felt
expectations so high that no one can get in. Like
I
that's what.
made that thumbnail there with her with we've got expectations. I got the silhouettes in there. I got a baby. I got money. I got love. I got the car, the house. We all want that. We all want it all. But sometimes I realize I say an awful lot. I watched yesterday's stream back. I irritated the shit out of myself. I'm like, God, I say like every 2 seconds. So I'm gonna try to wean myself off of that.
Well,
See,
you
I could have
know,
said it right there, but I didn't. But it's I really think that expectations, and Eckhart Tolle talks about this all the time. Expectations are kind of dangerous. Now, there's a difference between expectations and goals. Yeah, I want goals. I want to, you know, own my own home one day. We wanted to own a business. We kind of checked that one off the bucket list, and do our own thing, and have a successful relationship at life. That's checked off the bucket list. I like to be financially free. That's not off the bucket list yet. We got the car, that's off the bucket list. So it's like, it all depends. But when you drop those expectations, and this is really where I wanted to focus the butt of what I wanted to talk about, was expectations can be dangerous in the way that it builds up a lot of anticipation only to disappoint, especially if you have lofty expectations of being a millionaire or owning $1 million home or driving a Bentley or, having your person. Sometimes you don't meet your person, but you meet somebody who's damn good enough and they can become your person. Sometimes you're in a house that maybe you don't own it, but it becomes yours while you're living in there. Maybe you don't have a brand new car. Maybe you got a 10-year-old car, but it's in great shape and it looks great and it happens to be a BMW. Who knows? You know what I mean?
I
Or it
think
happens to
the
be a
biggest
Pinto.
expectation you can have, and that brings you to Eckhart Tolle, like that point about living in the now, being grateful and expecting of yourself to be grateful for everything that you have, will and expect yourself to do what's right now to get to that expectation that you
Yeah,
have, maybe that goal. That's what I think a lot of people are missing, is they're not being in the moment and thankful for what they have, and
for
they're
what they
expecting
already
something
have.
else. They're always looking, this is good, but I need this. This is good, but I
Always
need this.
always wanting. And the 23rd Psalm, and I don't quote scripture. That's not what I do, but I do love the 23rd Psalm. I say that every morning because it sets my day off. And it starts out with, "You are my shepherd, I shall not want. You made me to lie in green pastures and lead me beside still waters." Basically, our expectations need to be dropped down to ground zero, because at the end of the day, you can't take any person, place, or thing with you. So when you have all these lofty expectations, really the only expectation you should have is to just be and exist and be at peace, because everything else should add on to that. If you have goals that you set and you reach those goals, and those goals get you some of those material things, and people and places, then wonderful, great. You get to live your life with those comforts. But if all of it was stripped away, would you be a person that would have to be talked off the ledge, or would you still be whole? Pause. You know, because it matters that you don't get so attached to people, places, and things, and have your expectations based in those. Your expectations should simply be, and I'm not trying to tell you what to do and how to feel, but if you could get to a place where your expectations are ground zero, the only expectation you have is to be at peace within, then everything else, whether it's good or bad, however you perceive it, whatever you accomplish, whatever you add to your life, whatever you add in there is extra, is bonus. Eckhart Tolle, when he dropped all of his expectation and dropped all of his facade of being this and being that, he said, I ain't doing this shit, but I could. The cool thing is I fucking could, if need be. He sat on a park bench for 2 years in nothing but peace and bliss because he wasn't attached to anything. And you may say, well, that's a crazy ass weird way to live. I don't want to do that. I mean, I need my friends, I need my man, I need my woman. You know what I mean? I need my house. That's fine. Yay, yay, yay. I'm not trying to live in a cardboard box either. And I'm not trying to sit on no park bench for 2 years either. But if I had to, that's not the point. The point is, if you didn't have anything, or if everything you had that was stripped away all of a sudden in one foul swoop, what would you do? How would you be? And the point is, you want to get to a point where if it happened, you would be absolutely fine, because from that place you can rebuild it once again, and it's all replaceable. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
So
It's like being
that's
okay with where you are right now and enjoying this exact moment instead of, it's like you said, like he stripped it way, way, he went all the way to the park bench,
he stripped it away, man. He
but
stripped it. He became
it's
just
really a
a guy sitting on a bench.
metaphor. I mean, he did it for real, but it's a metaphor for me to strip away any expectations and appreciate what you have. And it's so interesting to see when you stop and just appreciate that moment that you're in, how
Yeah,
those moments continue to add up. And you will eventually, if you had an expectation, it's going to happen because you're doing that one little thing at a time and appreciating that each moment that's adding up to the expectation that you probably had, but you
absolutely.
couldn't get to because you were trying to get 100 miles, you
Yeah,
know, ahead of where you are. And
right.
it's
And you
like
know,
the
when you keep reaching for stuff that you constantly don't get, it's disheartening, and it brings your spirit down. And remember frequencies. You need to be, when you are in a vibration of peace, love, and contentment, your vibration is very high. That's called a high
Mhm.
frequency that you're rolling in right there. And when it's negative in any way, it's a low vibration. And you know, because that's how you feel. You feel low, you feel down, or you feel high, you feel up, And if you can keep yourself sustained with very bare minimum on that high level, then anything that you get is a blessing. I remember the time that I got locked up for driving on a suspended license and spent some time behind bars, and it was no joke. But I think maybe that's why I was able to completely relate. Now I came full circle why that happened. Um, because it taught me how to be Eckhart Tolle in that moment. Everything, my freedom was stripped away. I had nothing. I was a number. Okay, nothing. No people. Not mom couldn't come with me. Couldn't bring no money. You can. They take all your shit. Okay, the only thing you got is that jumpsuit and you. And it made me really, if I wasn't already, because I'm a loner, but I was sitting in that holding cell after the courtroom, and they took me back, and I thought, well, it is what it is. I remember, and I wasn't even into the whole get rid of your fear thing. I had done it anyway, so I didn't lose my freaking mind. Like, oh yeah, yeah. So I didn't want to be that. So I'm like, okay, Dawn, calm down. Look at it as an adventure. You seen Prisoner Cell Block H. Make it fun, bitch. Hey, go see what it's like.
Did you talk
Make it,
British?
huh? No. But and I'm like, okay, I'm actually kind of curious to see what this is gonna be like. And all of a sudden, I was this little giddy kid who was like going to a freaking it was like summer camp. I'm like, okay, wow, okay. Oh, I got the handcuffs. Oh, this is real. I got into it and didn't let it scare me. And I just basically rolled through the whole thing with a smile on my face. And it's easy to do that because I knew I was only going to be in there for a couple of weeks. Okay. When you got years, that ain't cool. But I will tell you this, everything you see is true. It is a completely different world when you go in there. You become a family if you meet a group of people or you click with a few girls or whatever. And it's a completely, you don't think about the outside world because all the world is in there. And everything, the dynamic happens that's in there. You know what I mean? And that's all you know. You
If
can
you
be
think about it, your expectations of things can
go
make you
way
have
down.
fear anyway, more so than the actual experience itself. And sometimes your expectations, if they're up here and say, I'm not worried about this, you can actually be overconfident in something and then
Yeah,
not be in the moment with it. And it sounds like that's the kind of place that you have to, like, you can't be thinking the whole time about when I'm going to be out. You have to actually get in the moment because that's where you are
and
at the
be where
moment.
you're
And that's
at. Be
Jess
where
said
you're at.
something really profound. I wanted to read that. It said,
Okay.
"We allow our own hearts to be broken by having expectations." That is so true.
Wow.
That is so
Yes.
true. That and
Yes.
that that is the like that is exactly what we were talking about with those shows and everything. It happens and you watch it happen to people, especially when you're watching from the outside. It's always easier to see things when you're watching someone else's life. And I think that's why on reality TV we can all yell at the TV like, "What is
Yes.
she doing? Is she not seeing these red flags?" You know? But when it comes down to it, we have to step outside of ourselves sometimes. And that's why I always say don't ever react to something right away when you hear something, when somebody says something to you, when you see something in writing that you want to just reply to on social media or something like that. You have to just take that minute, absorb it in, see what you're feeling, see what that person might be feeling, look at it from their perspective too, and then come up with a way to say it where you're not attacking that person because you don't want to be
Absolutely.
attacked. You have to say it in a way of this is how this is making me feel, or I understand what you're saying because of this. However, here's what I thought and why I feel this way. And that expectation, that you not having the expectation of that response, even, you know what I mean? Like you not
Hmm.
expecting someone to think exactly like you is going to take away. That is the worst expectation there is, to think that we're all going to have the same opinion. And that's when people can get offended by other people's, point of views and things, or other people,
Yeah.
how they might do something. Maybe that's how they do it. Maybe you can help them find a better way. Maybe you can, but you're never going to help somebody if you just have expectations and then you keep putting them down because they're not meeting your expectation. Well, that's not where they are. That's not their, you know what I mean?
That's
Or
what
they
I
might
kept
not know
seeing.
your expectation.
Right, and
That's
that's what
another
I
thing
kept
people
seeing
do
with
wrong.
Cole and Zay because it's like, okay, what do you expect this guy to do? Like grovel on the ground like forever, or just like jump off a ledge and die because he flirted with somebody else? I mean, do you know how many guys? He did not have to tell her that he did that, but eventually he would have had to come clean because
It was on a
Colleen
TV
came,
show.
yeah, and Colleen came clean to Matt, so it was out anyway about the conversation. So she did a smart thing there. She didn't know if Cole was going to say anything, and she didn't want that to get back at him the wrong way. But it ended up kind of backfiring because he wanted to leave anyway, and it caused a lot of problem in the relationship and Cole's relationship. But again, the expectation, to Jess's point and to your point, babe, is that you are not putting yourself in that other person's place. How did you think she would feel knowing that you found another girl attractive? How did you think he would feel when you said that he made you feel inferior or he disrespect and you left him at the altar? It's like people's expectations are up here, and they get disappointed so much. And to your point, you got to learn to be content where you're at. And even worst case scenario, if you had nothing at all, could you survive? And the answer is yes. You're tougher than you think you are.
Let me
So expectations needs to be to a minimum.
absolutely. That's such a great message, you know. And I was thinking too, if some a lot of people get upset because somebody didn't meet their expectation, but the other person didn't know that they were expecting that. Like you ever
Right.
seen somebody get mad like, well, I was expecting you to make dinner.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know you were expecting me to make dinner. So now instead of the person saying even that they were expecting them to make dinner, this is taking it to a simplified level, but expectations sometimes can be much greater. Like I expect you to check in with me, let's just say, and that person didn't. So now you feel like even though that person might have just been
They're
super busy,
cheating.
or yeah, and all of a sudden your expectation was you should have called me, and now you're mad because your expectation wasn't met when it had nothing to do with them even trying to do anything against you because you didn't understand where they were coming from. So that's where that like if you have an expectation of something, then you have to also put it out there. That's a big thing like in workplaces too. Let people know what you expect of them, or don't just come back and say, "Oh, I didn't you didn't do this." Like, "Well, I didn't know I was expected to do it." It's like in a relationship, like with Cole, he said I kept apologizing, but I don't know that she expected him to never make her feel inferior to another woman. But in a show like that, where he was going to be dating multiple women, if she had that wall, that probably wasn't the best. I don't even know that she knew that would affect her that much
Yeah.
because that disconnected her from him in a way that she could never reach back at. That expectation of I'm supposed to be your number one and you're never supposed to let me know that you would have chosen somebody else over me. I think if he had said you were my number one all along, she might be the person that I would look at first, but I find you more beautiful now that I know you.
In
Okay.
retrospect, there's all kind of things that could have been said and done in that moment. Yeah.
And somebody else might not have reacted like her. Someone else like Raven, who is a little more secure in herself, the other lady on
How
there.
about Nancy, the one that Batiste said that he actually told her? He didn't even say and try to make up any excuses. He said, "Yeah, I'm legit attracted to both of you right now. I'm just being honest. You don't mind me being honest, do you?" And she just kind of stared at him. But she managed to let that roll off her back. He admitted to her that he was just as attracted to Raven and was interested in Raven and was torn, even sitting in bed with her. But she didn't just get up and walk away like Matt did. She didn't go off on him like Zay did. She basically took it in and was like, okay, you know what? I don't know what he expects me to do with that, but we're going to move forward because right now he's here with me. So I'm going to be in this moment and be the best I can be for him. And hopefully he'll come around and make a decision on me. That was a very, very cool way to play that. That's the kind of stuff that makes people fall for you because it exudes confidence and it shows that you're okay within yourself, regardless of what they think of you. So, okay, maybe you'll catch up to how I feel about myself at some point. And if you don't, oh well. And ultimately that's what ended up happening to them. She's like, you know what? No, you didn't pick me, so you didn't marry me, so I'm out. No, we're not going back dating. We're not doing that. And apparently he didn't need to anyway because he was already with somebody else messing around a couple days after he told her no. So he was probably messing with this person on social media before they even got to the altar. I wouldn't put
Right.
it past him. Batiste is a snake.
Oh yeah. And you can tell that he didn't, he's very immature in his way that he deals with other people. And the only time he even liked her for a 1 second, or I thought was going to be serious with her, is he was thinking superficially about her money.
Mm-hmm.
I think
Yeah.
that he might have liked her as a person and was going to try to make it happen, but he realized somewhere in that he's still in that zone where he wants to date multiple people. He's not even ready to be
Well,
in a
he's
relationship to be
25, and
married.
ages ain't nothing but a number. It
Yeah,
depends on the maturity level, not the
but
age.
his
But
maturity level
in
is
his
low.
case, yeah. In his case, he's more at the level of a 21-year-old, not even
And
like a 30-year-old.
he almost put this like shell up around him too when somebody would say like, "Yep, I get it. Yep, I know I do that." But not like I'm going to change anything about it in the
Yeah.
future.
Which, hey, if he's happy within himself and who he is, then that's what this is all about at the end of the day. he's about making Batiste happy. And as selfish as it is, he's got the right idea. It's just, you can put some grease on it, mother. You can put some grease on it, okay? Sweeten it up a little bit. You don't have
I
to be
think
so
it's so
rude about it.
important to be and like be empathetic to other people's feelings, and you can't always be like,
Her brother
can't
was ready to whip his ass at that wedding.
he should have.
Although I don't think he could
Just kidding.
have.
I don't believe in violence.
The brother was like,
So
because
little.
Batiste is a big dude, a big strapping, muscular dude. So his brother, he was selling wolf tickets, but he was selling wolf tickets from across from like 50 feet. Yeah, man, you didn't marry my sister, man. But I didn't see him trying to walk up to his face and like, I think the mom kind of stopped him. I think the mom wanted a piece of him. Now, don't get me wrong. All five of those little chihuahuas, yeah, they could have probably him up pretty good.
Let me ask
But
you a question. Does that
yeah,
show, is it mandatory that they do that at the time of the wedding, or is that like part of the intriguement of the show? They have to go to the altar and then decide, or are they able to do that like beforehand?
no, that's the whole premise. You got to wait until
Okay.
the altar and it's okay.
But they
What's going
could
to
at
happen?
least, I think what some of them are saying is you should have discussed that with me, that you were having, that you were thinking otherwise, like you might not marry me. I think some of them are going into it where they even pulled the wool over the eyes of their own, the person they were getting ready to marry. That
A
seems
lot
to
of
be the
them get
biggest,
blindsided.
because they're
A lot of
scared
them
to
get
probably
blindsided.
tell them, and they feel like, oh, I'll just do it,
And here's the
some are.
thing, a lot of them make the excuse that, well, I didn't know until that moment. I mean, look, legit did not know until that moment. I just channeled Batiste. It's like I did. A lot of them I hear say that when they hear the whole thing. Why didn't you tell me if you knew you were going to do that? Well, I didn't know. That's bullshit. You did
Mhm.
not make that decision in that very second. You had inklings because all of a sudden, if you're wavering and you're back and forth and you're back and forth and you're back and forth. At some point, you came up with no, and you made that decision. You're not going to tell me that you legit just made it in that moment because you don't make lifelong decisions in the blink of an eye like that. There has to at least be a few minutes of thought process. You're not going to tell me in that exact moment, unless your life is being threatened in that moment, that you made a lifelong a decision that's going to last you the rest of your life in like 2 seconds. All of a sudden, it was this way, and then it switched to that. If you're that fickle, then something's wrong. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was going to marry you, but in that moment, I decided not to. I wasn't going to marry you, but in that moment, I decided you were the person for me. It doesn't happen like that. So they're
And that
lying when
there
they say I
can
made this
be
decision in that moment.
a feeling there. Like I do feel like, the fear creeps in when they're at that point where they are, okay, I need to make this decision right now. This is it. I'm at this point where if I say yes here, I'm married to this person
Yeah,
like legally forever. So
right.
I can see where in that moment there might be fear that would get into them, of like fear of commitment if these people went on a dating show to begin with and they barely know this person. And then
Yeah.
sometimes it might feel like, hey, I'm looking in this person's eyes and this feels like home, this feels like right. So but I still think that this is not the time to make that decision. Like I think that's terrible that they have the whole family there, and I guess that's like part of what we like about this reality show. But like everybody's sitting there, it's like Runaway Bride, like it's
Oh,
like
he said no. But yeah,
it's such an interesting show though, to like to say that, and I've said this before when we did the Love is Love Blind one. It was like when you think about somebody and you meet them online, even people are doing that where without their being in the moment with this person. And then so it's like, okay, they meet this person, they're hooking, talking and connecting on an emotional level. They don't know what they look like. Then here comes the expectations, because when you talk to somebody you do kind of get a picture of this is what they sound like, they look like. So I feel like there
hmm,
is the beginning of the expectation. You
yeah,
might be hearing this voice and thinking, oh, she sounds like, she might be cute or whatever. And then so they go, get, it'd be even better. They should make them type their first couple of conversations where they can't even hear the voice. And then
right.
it's like, But anyway, so then they see this person, and now it's about, okay, I have to take my expectations that I had of what this person might be like in
And
person
adjust them.
and adjust those expectations and see if this really is the emotional connection, that we can do that with the physical connection. And then I think that might take some time for some of them, like what happened with Cole. He had to
Yeah,
get past his expectation, but the fact that he was perfect, she must have thought he was really cute, and that was her expectation of who he was going to be, so that fact that her expectation was good and his wasn't, at she couldn't, get past that point of that expectation that here's how he should treat me. It wasn't even
yeah,
about the looks for her.
yeah, exactly. I was thinking about something, and Jess, if you're still there, let me know what you guys think about this idea. But I was thinking because I almost did it today, but I was watching that and I got on the whole expectation thought train. But what about doing like a freestyle Friday on these lives where I put the link up and you guys can come up and we can just, all week long you can think of something that you want to talk about on Friday and you can come up on the panel and we just basically do a live rant, and everybody kind of throws something in, whoever's here, you know what I mean? And just call it Freestyle Friday. I was thinking about doing that.
That sounds cool. I'll do a plant rant. No, I like it. It's a good idea.
Yeah, that way, Jess, you can come up on the panel if Jen's here, if any of the others are here, or Buddha or any of those people. You guys can hit the link and come on up on the panel. We can just kind of freestyle it and talk about a myriad of things. And if we end up getting some healing done in the process, then so be it. You know what I mean? I think that would be really cool and really fun to do that on Fridays. And I mean, you guys been attending every day, so it's like you got all week to kind of think, you know what? I'm gonna put that in the back of my mind. I want to talk about that on Friday.
Or if you want to elaborate more on one of the other streams you did, probably too.
Yeah, so that would be so awesome. I'm going to go ahead and close it out here. Did you have anything else you wanted to say?
No, I did not. Thank you for letting me come on and, um, tell my opinions and talk for a while. And hi, everybody. Thank you for coming.
Thank everyone for coming. Jess, I did follow you, and yeah, let me know, and let's get on that because that's gonna be fun. That's gonna be cool, and I would love. Yeah, I gotta check those groups out that you mentioned. So I'm down with it. Let's move the bar. You know what I mean? So thank you for being here and contributing to the conversation. Always being a huge part of the chat and giving us some good feedback and good insights on your own. You know what I mean? I can't wait to hear your voice and talk to you one on one in here. You know what I mean? Or group on one, whatever. I can't wait to do this rant. But we're gonna go ahead and close it on out. And you have a fantastic weekend. I'll probably talk to you before the weekend's out. I'm probably gonna end up doing some TikToks. I was in a TikTok zone today, dude. The one about the chick with the crab legs. I could not duet that. I don't know if they've shut off the duets with it. And even when I used the sound, it was acting really glitchy and weird. So I just screen recorded it and then added my own spin on the end of it. So I posted that. But I went on your page and I'm starting to scroll through your stuff and check your stuff out. And I saw that when I was cracking up at that look is well, and I'm like, I'm exactly, you're saying that to a lesbian, are you crazy? Yeah, crack my legs open, shit. But anyway, oh my god, I gotta be so careful. And then it started me on these vegan gay jokes, and I'm like, I started to make one that said, my wife and I are so competitive. She became a vegan and she said to me, I'm healthier than you are. And I said, no, you're not. I'm a vegan too. Eat me. But I'm like, if I make that one, are they gonna ban me or are they gonna knock me off the platform? So I don't know. You gotta help me out of what I can say and can't say on that shit because I will make some videos, dude. But I said, yeah, no. I went on. I left it at the vagina, and said, "Nah, I'm not going to do the wife one." But I'm like, "Oh, it's a TikTok kind of day." Oh my God. Really? Okay, as long as you hashtag fake body. Okay, put that hashtag on it and it should be cool. I'm like, that's a good ass joke right there. I mean, because technically I'm vegan, and if she's eating vegan if she's because I'm vegan too. So, and then I figured I'd throw the competition thing in there to make it seem like the insult thing. But okay, well, cool beans, man. Meatless Monday. Yeah, I put the link in the stream for yesterday for anybody who missed it. And of course, the Cash Apps are in there, the PayPal's in there. I put Karen and Thomas BSR. Please check them out. I put Meatless Monday in there. I put Dauchsy Meditation in there.
I went to get some grapes. You're making me hungry.
Really? Wow, grapes. Yeah, maybe that'll perk me up. Well, I'm still drinking this decaf right now, though. But okay, cool. I will do that. I think I'm gonna make some TikToks. I think I'm gonna get on TikTok and make some TikToks. So keep a lookout, girl. Keep a lookout. And I'm gonna go watch some of your stuff too, because I'm like, that's gonna be funny as hell. I just tipped the iceberg with that one and couldn't get past it. So I know I'm gonna have a ball with that. Anyway, all right. I'll talk to you soon. Love you,
All
baby.
right. Love you. Thank you.
Yep.